What does this have to do with Biden's tax law of the Green Book? Well, I'm watching a lot of people get angry and frustrated, and I'm here to say it's time to peel back that anger and that frustration. And I want to know, what does that anger and frustration represent to you? Is because anger is just deep sadness. Sadness for what? What are you actually really truly sad about? What's going on, everybody? It is time to talk talk taxes. Now, there's a lot of noise around the world right now, particularly here in the United States. We've got tax law stuff going on. And I want to show you how, when we give so much energy and so much passion and so much trigger reactivity to things that actually don't affect your daily life, but could down the road, I'm going to show you how we can navigate some of these things, because they're hitting us all like a ton of bricks these days. And I don't care what country you're coming from, you've got your version of this in your country, like we do in the United States. So don't forget, I want you to hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell. Why? Because I'm here to help you get to a life that you absolutely love. And we can't get there unless we stop giving energy to the things that don't create the tomorrow that you want. So, as I always say, Einstein proved it. E equals MC squared. So everything is energy, including your money. The challenge that most of us face is the fact that we have all these proposals that we give all this passion to that may or may not come into fruition. So I remember being blasted last year with all these new tax laws. Like in the United States, we have over $10 trillion that needs to be paid back, that all parts of government actually created. Because some of it was created in the last presidency and some of it was created in this presidency. So God knows I do not want to get into politics whatsoever. I want us to actually look at the facts. My book, The Emotion Behind Money, I talk about if you are emotionally triggered. So let's just say something at large is being proposed, like tax law as an example. And it's going to affect you or someone you love, good, bad, or indifferent. I want you to take a step back. Why? Because if we are physiologically, emotionally triggered, something needs to shift in you in your approach moving forward, as opposed to something having to shift in somebody else on the outside. There's an awful lot. Just look on social media, right? You see how people go at each other politically. I had someone from college defriend me and somebody from grammar school because they thought they knew what I was talking about, and they couldn't have been farther from the truth. So I want us to start to recognize that if some of these new pieces of noise, I'll call them, when it comes to tax reform or whatever form of reform, financial reform that you're having in your country, to take a look at it. Now, I'm gonna use Biden's new tax laws called the Green Book. He's certainly addressing, the billionaires of the world. He's certainly addressing the high net worth people of the world. Again, I'm going to sit in the camp of don't get hooked to whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's about coming from a place of observation and neutrality, to be curious to see how this is going to help the collective grow to the next place, how we try to get to this place of neutrality, but you can't do that when you're evaluating your own financial stuff, along with then evaluating like what financial stuffs may or may not personally affect you. And be careful in terms of how you get hooked to the stories. Why do I say all this? Because they're a financial distraction. They're an absolute financial distraction. What do I mean by that? So when you get hooked to, yeah, the billionaires, they just have to like pay all these taxes, blah, blah, blah. Let's say you get hooked to that. That's okay. It's okay. But it's distracting you from the life that you really want to live. So you now got this piss and vinegar that is going towards something that, unless you're the person sitting in Congress, you're not going to really affect the vote on that. Now, you could certainly voice your opinion. You want to have your voice. You want to come from a place of empowerment. But how much is it controlling your life? How much is it controlling you from not actually getting to a life that you love? That's where the financial distraction comes into play. This is where I would argue that when you are having a hyper response or a hyper reaction that doesn't really fit the bill of what's really happening in the moment, that means there's some internal work that needs to go on. And this is why my subtitle to my first book, The Emotion Behind Money, is called Building Wealth from the Inside Out. Because we have to regulate our nervous systems to actually step into a place of abundance and manifestation, to open up our energetic system, which is our chakra system. I know I just said a lot in that statement. And what does this have to do with Biden's tax law of the Green Book? Well, I'm watching a lot of people get angry and frustrated, and I'm here to say it's time to peel back that anger and that frustration. And I want to know, what does that anger and frustration represent to you? Is because anger is just deep sadness. Sadness for what? What are you actually really truly sad about? And get to the bottom of it. And sit in a place of, okay, I'm sad. And it has nothing to do with what's going on. Maybe you're financially not where it is that you want. Maybe you've worked your butt off your entire life and you're like, I'm so tired of struggling. I just want it to be easy. Well, you don't understand that when you're hooking into these things and making yourself angry and more feisty and more frustrated, you're actually pushing yourself actually away from the life that you want to live. And you're closing up your capillaries, you're closing up your arteries, you're closing up your manifestation system. Physiologically, you're jamming yourself up because you're getting hooked. So be mindful of, it's important to be informed. It's absolutely important to be informed. But what's more important is to stay in a place of observation of that information and not be in a place of reactivity. Because you close off exactly what you want to manifest in your life. And you don't even realize that you are being the creator of your life in that particular way. So you can take this and you can apply it to the Green Book tax laws that are going on right now with Joe Biden. Or it could be any other, it could be the credit card company, your boss, your company, your blah, blah, blah. Whatever the story, remember, they're financial stories. That's what I want us to be mindful of. What stories are you hooking to and creating? Because it's so important for you to now write the new story of what you really truly want to create in your life, because you matter. And by you rewriting a new story and a new creation and stay in observation while all this change and all this infrastructure changes around the world, because it's not stopping anytime soon. We are changing major infrastructure financially, governments, our medical systems, all across the board. And it's really important. Like, I read a book by Tony Robbins the other day. I don't know if any of you guys have read it, Life Force. Oh my God, over 28 years of me talking about our health and our wealth and how it's all interrelated. And Tony came up with a couple doctors that he wrote this book with. Best book I've ever read, where it's all under one cover. Amazing, because it really shows us how we're jamming ourselves up physiologically, and that then closes you off financially. It's super, super important for us to start to realize that we are the creators of our lives, and we can choose whatever it is that we want. We just have to realize when we're plugging into the stuff that actually is not giving us the tomorrow we desire. So I hope you guys have a really great day. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell because we are going to get you to a life that you absolutely love. Thanks, everyone.